Put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real rappers being real with self. Man, I haven't seen the glory of the coming to the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real rappers being real with self. Man, I haven't seen the glory of the coming to the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. That's all you have to like. Wrong with being wealthy. I know you like Kanye West says, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's the world. You don't like money so much, why he doesn't go to work? Yeah, I do think about money. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. It's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, H Cortez.
Good morning, Black world, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth-building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. Truly an honor, privilege, and a blessing to come to you live and direct from the Black Billionaires Club studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. Presenters of the Generational Wealth Building Conference in Atlanta, GA, April 6th through 8th. If you have not gotten your We Make Black History Month special of a weekend pass for just $99, then you want to go to wealth.joincorteznow.com. The Generational Wealth Building Conference is just what we need. We're talking about building Wakanda. And building Wakanda starts with building relationships one with another, starts building alliances and partnerships and conglomerates with each other. It's going to be wealthy people, wealth-minded people from all over the world descending on Atlanta, Georgia, April 6th through 8th. You want to be in the building. All you have to do is go to wealth.joincorteznow.com to get all of the details. Again, you can get a weekend pass at the Black History Month special of just $99. But if you can't make the whole weekend, then you can also look at the individual event ticket prices, and you can buy event tickets a la carte. So do me a huge favor. If you're checking this out on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you have not already subscribed to the channel. Then make sure that you rate the show. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Just rate it either way. And then hit the share button for me, YouTube. It's okay for you guys to share as well. There's nothing wrong with sharing. Sharing is caring, as they say. And you guys can also interact with the show. I can see your comments live and living color. If you make a comment, let us know where you're from and the name of the business or brand that you are building, as you never know who on the stream might want to build with you. Same with you guys on Facebook. Go ahead and hit the share button. You guys know the price of admission to Talking Money in the Morning Live is a simple share. Just hit the share button and share it on your timeline. And let's invite some other folks that you know to learn about the Millionaire Booklet as I give my thoughts and my review of Grant Cardone's work. Amazing little piece of work, man. You need this in your life. Yo, what's going on, Donald? Cheryl Demps, I see you in the building. AB knows park ball and life mentoring, transforming the way the athlete thinks about money and life in general. I love that, AB. So yeah, hit the like button, hit the share button. If you haven't already liked the Financial Health Mentor page on Facebook, go ahead and hit the like button, and also turn on notifications. I'm live about 2 or 3 times a day with some pretty good information on building wealth. I post articles and that sort of stuff all day long so that you can understand money in a very fundamental sense, so you can apply these strategies to your life and begin to transform it from inside out. Rasan, good morning, my brother. So a couple quick announcements, man. If you have not already checked out Hustle and Love, that is a show with my lovely wife. She is hilarious, man. We're having a good time as we're preparing for that show every week. We go live on KOVLradio.com, and we're just bringing you the behind the scenes look at what it's like to build $1 billion empire, stay married. We've been married for 18 years, been together for 22 years. So what is that? What does that look like? We raised 5 of our own sons, and 2 other boys have come through our household as well. So 7 kids, entrepreneurship, family, hustle. How does all of this stuff fit together? And how is she, the only lady in the midst of all this testosterone, keep us all locked and in check? So you want to check that out. Hustle and Love. You can follow us on social media across all platforms at Hustle in Love. And I would appreciate it if you share some of those things as well. The YouTube channel has got a few videos, and we'll kind of take you on our journey from where we began when we first hooked up, and life as we went through this whole deal, and give you some practical tips on how you can make your love last, how you can hustle as a family, how you can support your children, and all that good stuff. So I just want to throw that out there again, KOBLradio.com, as well as Hustle and Love on all social media platforms. Now, we started a review of Grant Cardone's book, The Millionaire Booklet. And again, we are breaking down not just the book, but the marketing genius behind this little giveaway. Some of you guys have a tremendous amount of knowledge in your head about your particular subject matter, but you're trying to sell it before you have built your tribe. Again, some of us have tremendous amounts of knowledge that we're trying to sell before we build our actual tribes. Well, guess what? If you put some of that information into a PDF, download, ebook, or a small little publication like this, then you can use this as a giveaway and start to build your tribe. And what he's doing is he's giving away 1 million of these little booklets. And from Monetize My Life Academy, right? I teach you that you should be looking at the 1 of 4 ways to monetize what you know, and it is exposing what you know. So he is a super rich millionaire sales trainer and real estate investor. So he's exposing what he knows about getting super rich in this little book. And as he exposes what he knows, people learn to like and trust him. So it looks like lots of grocery for 7 boys. Yes, absolutely, Robert. So he's exposing what he's known, and he's building his tribe because people start to know, like, and trust him based on what he has to say. And he has the proof in the pudding to back that up, being that he is already super rich. So you guys can do the same thing. You can take what you know. Trevor Ott says it best, man, one of my favorite quotes of all time. There is more in what you know than what you do, right? So there's more in what you know than what you do. Look at the things that you know well, things that you know like the back of your hand, and you start exposing people to what you know. They begin to know, like, and trust you, and then ultimately they will buy from you. Because in this booklet, he also has his promotion for the Grant Cardone or the Cardone University, so that people can go and buy from him. And it's right at the end. So after I read this whole book, I'm going to look at Cardone University and see what Master the Art of Business and Commerce, Fundamentals of Sales, being master salesperson, understanding buyer personality, the perfect sales process, getting past the gatekeeper. See, all of these things based on reading this book makes me say, you know what? I need to learn all of this stuff. Let me go ahead and grab Cardone University. What did I do and monetize my life? I exposed to you what I know about monetizing your life, because I monetize my life. Almost everything that I do, I get paid to do, right? And then at the back of the book, it says, hey, get you a subscription to Monetize My Life Academy, right? Get you a subscription to Monetize My Life Academy. So you take your cues from people who are successful in doing what it is that you want to do, right? So let's get into some of the key points. Now, these are just my cliff notes. Go follow Grant Cardone. You're going to see his advertisement for this giveaway. And basically, all you have to do is pay for the cost of shipping, and this little gem is yours. I'm not going to recap, what we went over in the first chapter, but we're on chapter 2, where you get your advice. It says, word of warning, for this to work, for you to get super rich, you need to start being very selective about where you get your advice. Tell someone you are reading a book about how to get super rich, and they most likely will tell you it's impossible. Right? See, we are all surrounded by people who have stinking thinking. What's going on, Monica Allison, Future Leaders LLC in the building? Yes, we're all surrounded by people who have stinking thinking. And they, if you're not careful, you will allow the way they think to affect you, and you will allow them to speak negativity over your life. You will allow them to crush your dreams. You will allow them to cause you to have doubt and disbelief in your ability to get super rich. People will tell you all the time it's impossible. Most people get financial advice from people who are struggling with or who have given up on money. And that is so true, y'all. That is so true. And you may have experiences in your life, and you get to a point where you just say, you know what? My job pays me okay. You know what? I got a roof over my head. We eat okay. We go on a vacation once a year. Or you start to rationalize mediocrity, right? Anybody ever been there? You can admit it on this show. This is the no judgment zone. Anybody ever been in a place in their life where they found themselves rationalizing mediocrity? I'll give you a quick story about me as I started to build my business, right? I started to build my business, and my business would start to take off a little bit. And I start thinking about, okay, I'm going to make this thing really happen. I'm going to do this thing big time. And then I get a promotion on my job. I get more responsibilities on my job. I start making a little bit more money on my job. And then you know what I have? What I do? When I start making that little bit more money, I start getting that little bit of status on the job. I start spending less time on my business. Spend less time on my business. And even though my business was about to take off, I would rationalize, well, I really don't need my little side hustle anymore because I just became supervisor. I just made a few extra $1,000s per year. And I would give up on my dream and start focusing on building somebody else's dream. Now, this is not job bashing. If you have a job, keep your job, but add a side hustle to it. And there's a lot of reasons that you can do so. I didn't tell you that today's show is sponsored by the Black Wealth Movement, but you guys know that. Adding a business to your job allows you to reduce your tax liability. You take your tax savings and then use those to get yourself out of debt. Now, all of a sudden, you freed up the money that you need to start investing and building long-term generational wealth. So keep your job, right? Do your job. Do the best at your job. Just don't be satisfied at your job. So I would get my business going, because why was I working so hard in my business in the first place? Because I was frustrated that the job wasn't providing. But then once the business get going a little bit, then here comes the job giving me a raise. Here comes the job giving me a promotion. Now I'm starting to think that the job again is the answer. I rationalize not doing the activity in my business because I got a promotion on the job. Some of us are rationalizing, hey, I live in a nice middle-class neighborhood. I live and my kids go to a pretty decent school. And you're rationalizing away your dreams, because that wasn't your dream when you was a kid. Was it? Was that your dream when you was a kid, to get a job and just get by? Or did you dream to get filthy rich so you can be a blessing to the world? Don't let the wrong people speak the wrong things over your life, including yourself. Don't rationalize your own unhappiness, right? The truth is, getting rich, even super rich, should not be taboo. It should be your battle cry. And he goes on to say, last year I helped raise more than $100 million for charities. I remember a time when I couldn't lend you $1. I was so broke. Let's look at that, man. Let's look at that, and let's put that in perspective as to where we are as a community of people. I see you, Robert. Appreciate you for sharing. And somebody else just shared. I didn't catch the name as well. Let's look at that. He says, we are in a society where just talking about getting rich will cause people to look at you side-eyed. Just talking about getting rich will make people think that you are some vain person, that you are some superficial person. But he said talking about getting rich and getting rich should not be taboo. Right now, you start talking about, man, I'm a future billionaire. I remember telling somebody that I'm a billionaire in the making, and they snickered until we locked eyes, and they saw my facial expression and that I was dead serious. Right? So you have to be careful with who you share your dreams with. And when you share your dreams, I share my dreams, and I tell you every morning I'm a future billionaire, and I don't say it with a smile on my face. I'm dead serious. But I was telling this person that, man, I'm gonna be a billionaire, and it's like billionaire. And then we locked eyes, and I wasn't playing. But what you have to be careful of is that person may not ever be able to see themselves that successful, that filthy rich, in that type of position of power. And if you're not careful, you will let them superimpose their limitations on you. And I don't do that. I don't let people superimpose their limitations on me. He snickered, and then he looked me in my eyes, was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "You doggone right, I'm serious." Because I can't help reshape our community. I can't help build unless I have the resources myself. Yeah, Angela says, when I talk about wealth on my personal page, gets crickets. But let you bring up the housewives of Atlanta. Everybody got an opinion on that, right? So getting filthy rich should not be taboo. It should be your battle cry. I want everybody who understands that our battle is an economic battle. Economic empowerment is the revolution. So I want you to put battle cry in the chat. Put battle cry in the chat. Economic empowerment is the revolution, right? So he says getting super rich should be your battle cry. It shouldn't be taboo. And this is why I do this, because I'm constantly attracting people who understand that and who want that to be the case in their lives. And those are the people that I want to be around. Those are the people that I want to network with. Those are the people that I want to share ideas with. We can't rebuild our community unless we have the resources, right? Without capital, right? George Fraser says it best. He says, capitalism without capital is just ism, right? And we've been trying to rebuild our communities with just ism, right? Evan Jefferson also puts it this way. We've been trying to, the reason we're behind is because we're fighting social battles in an economic war. We're fighting social battles in an economic war, and somebody has got to focus on putting themselves in position to write a check for the school that Dr. Umar Johnson wants to build. Somebody has got to be in position to write a check to take the to go to the UN with crimes of inhumanity. Right? Somebody has got to put themselves in position to write a check to fight the school to prison pipeline. Otherwise, we're just fighting social injustices in an economic war. Right? My man DJ from the movie Black Friday, the remix, he said, Black people are the only people on a battleground treating it like a playground. We are the only people on the battlefield treating it like a playground. See, everybody else is preparing for battle and we're singing Kumbaya. Everybody else is locking down their communities and keeping us out while we're welcoming everybody in, and they're allowed to come in and siphon out our resources. Getting super rich has to be somebody's battle cry in our community. It has to be. Somebody's got to put themselves in a position to be able to make some changes, because for the last 150 years, we know that we're not getting any government grants. We know the banks ain't loaning us no money. We don't need that though. Should not be our Should not be taboo. It should be our battle cry. Getting rich is not only possible, it is vital to your survival and your ability to help those you love. We live in on an economic planet. Every day, every one of us is confronted with money requirements and limitations. Every day. Every day you're confronted with a money challenge, a money requirement, and a money limitation, right? Who thinks about money more, rich people or poor people? Who thinks about money more, rich people or poor people? Kanye West said it best: having money is not everything. Not having it is. Because when you don't have it, that's all you think about. Every time you get ready to make a move, you got to check the price tag on something, right? I think wealthy people are checking the price about where they're going to eat at. They're not thinking about that. I do. I got a bunch of kids. If I want to take my family out, I got to think. It's got to be a strategic plan about where we're going and what we're going to eat, right? Because that's a money limitation. That's a money requirement. When you are brought up poor and middle class, you inherit the beliefs of the poor and middle class, and you are stuck in those ideas. There's nothing wrong with if you're middle class, if you ascended from poverty to middle class, and then you raise your family in the middle class. There's nothing wrong with that. That is an elevation, right? But what happens is we teach our kids a middle class thought process. And we get to this place because of where we came from. We put in them that we've made it, right? When we because of where we come from, some of us come from the project, some of us come from poor and broke conditions and neighborhoods, welfare, and now we get to a certain place, and now we put into our children that this is the pinnacle, this is enough, this is where we made it. This is how can you get the book? You have to get you have to go follow Grant Cardone on Facebook, YouTube, any of his social media platforms, and this is a giveaway for him. If you follow him, I promise you within an hour you'll see a notification or a this will come up on your timeline as a giveaway, and then all you have to do is pay for shipping and he'll send it to you. So it's the mindset and the ideas that we put into our children. Somebody give me one thing that you've been taught about money that's kind of limiting, and if you when you really break that down, who's been taught something about money or something that's said in your household all the time about money that may not be 100% true, right? I've got a few, but I wonder if you guys got any that you want to share. We're talking about the limiting beliefs about money. There's certain things that we're taught about money in middle class households and poor households and impoverished households that just aren't true, but they're repeated so much that they become ingrained in us, right? We've all heard it said, money is the root of all evil, right? We've all heard that. When the Bible clearly says it's the love of money is the root of all evil. And in fact, the love of money can cause you evil, but so can the lack of money, right? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Spend it today, for tomorrow isn't promised. And what's funny about that, Dexter, what's funny about that is people who talk like that be having a ton of kids. I hear my brothers in the streets talking about YOLO. You only live once. Ball out. Tomorrow ain't promised, man. So I'm gonna live, man. And these cats got 13, 14 kids. And that's and that's the mindset that you have. Instead of a mindset of building a legacy, instead of a mindset of putting your children, giving your children a head start, you're spending every dime that you get to look a certain way, to feel a certain way, to be seen and perceived as a certain way. right? It is crazy, right? Let's see. We never had any, and we never will have any. That's another good one, Monica. Shoot, stop worrying about money. We ain't got none. We ain't gonna get none. And all the universe knows how to do is say yes. They start saying we ain't got none and we ain't gonna get none, and the universe says, "Yep, you're right," and it starts to validate everything that you said. You lose a job. I told you we ain't got no money. We ain't never gonna get none. It starts to validate what you said. Right? You're so right. Black Knight says money can't make you happy. We're gonna address that in a second because he's got a good quote on that one too. Let's see what else. Donovan said it wasn't a topic at all in his house. Wasn't even a topic in his house, right? How can you get better at something? How can you, David says, mom used to say, you can't miss what you never had. Wow. So these are things. So we agree that the middle class lifestyle, and there's a mindset that comes with that. The poor lifestyle, the impoverished lifestyle, there's a mindset that comes with it. There's a certain way that we've been trained to think, right? As a child, money doesn't grow on trees, when in fact it does. Money is made of cotton, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Debt is inevitable. You can't take money with you. That's another thing. Not realizing the point is not to take it with me, it is to leave it behind for future generations. We're not supposed to take it with us. We're supposed to build with it. We're supposed to create legacies with it. It was 7 of us, gotcha, and you're the oldest of 7. Money ain't just floating around that we can go get that. And in fact, Robert, we know that money is floating all around us. We just have to tap in, put us a spigot on these pipes and these lanes of money that are floating all around us so it can start dripping to us. Right? It is. So these are the thought patterns. They pass mindset to those 13 kids. Yep. It said you will always owe somebody. That's another good one. Thinking about that debt is inevitable. You've got to live with debt. You got to die with debt. Man, you guys are on it this morning. It says, broke will make you miserable. Absolutely. Poverty can't make you happy either. Right. Money can't make you happy, but neither can poverty. Since my parents made us build our own money avenue, and you absolutely have to do that, man. Since my parents schooled us, parents are old school islanders. I'm firstborn here in America. Okay, I got your logic. But yeah, that's the deal, man. Broke folk got more sayings about why they should be and stay broke than than butter got on love. Yeah, man. Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. It is crazy that that's the mindset that's being passed down, and that's why I do this show, man, so we can transform and switch that thinking up. So we agree. It says anyone who tells you that money won't make you happy never had enough money to know the difference. Right? See, Black Knight said money can't make you happy. We've all heard that, but usually we're hearing that from people who've never had enough money to even be able to gauge whether or not it can make them happy or not. Now, Grant Cardone readily admits that I've been wealthy, I've been poor, and money does not make you happy. But I can say that because I'm wealthy. Most people who are saying money can't make you happy don't have none. So how do they know? They never had any, so they don't know, right? And I will venture to say this: being able to provide. What's going on, Rashawn? This is yeah, we got to get rich minded on review as well. On review as well. So Rashawn is an entrepreneur's entrepreneur, and he just flat out teaches entrepreneurship in a major way. So if you're not following Rashawn, you got to check my brother out as well. great work for helping people break the slave mentality and understand the mindset of an entrepreneur, right? So anyone who tells you that money won't make you happy never had enough money to know whether it would or wouldn't. Didn't have enough money to know whether it would or wouldn't. These, again, are people who are basically rationalizing their current state of affairs, right? They're rationalizing why they don't have money instead of pursuing it. It's a sad thought. We literally had minutes worth of sayings about being broke. I got to get better at messaging. Yeah. Everybody just these tons of sayings about being broke and staying broke was just right there, right? Let me see what's another one in here. Let me see how much time we got left. All right, yeah, I got a few that we can hit on. So we'll wrap up with these few to take us into chapter 2. Financial freedom is 2 parts mental and 1 part mechanical, and you have to get your mental part right first. Did y'all hear that? It's 2 parts mental, 1 part mechanical. It's 2 parts mental, 1 part mechanical. So you got to get your mindset right. And then there are some action steps, the mechanics of getting rich. You got to get that too. I talk about building businesses. You have to understand skill set and mindset, and you need them both. However, skill set without mindset will make you upset. Right? I want you to get this. A lot of us have skill sets to make money, but we don't have mindset to get wealthy. Skill set without mindset will make you upset. But mindset without skill set will still keep you on your way. But a lot of us have skills, but not the right mindset. 2 parts mental, 1 part mechanical. You got to get the mindset part right first. So what I mean is that you probably need to lose your mind first, including many of the beliefs you were brought up with. And we just hammered out a bunch of beliefs that we were brought up with. Got to lose your mind. You got to shake all of that stuff off. It look like my kids closed the door when they left. You have to lose your mind to become wealthy. You have to lose your mind to become wealthy, because the mind you have right now is not one that is even capable of making you wealthy. Ask me how I know. Because if the person you are today could make you wealthy, you'd already be wealthy. If the person you are today, or if the person you was 5 years ago was capable of producing wealth in your life, you'd already have it. You would already have it. So you have to transform and become a new person. You literally have to transform and become a new person, because the person that you are today can't get it done. This is why you are here listening to a program like this. This is why you read certain books. This is why you're changing your habits. This is why you're changing the people you hang out with. This is why everything about you is changing. It says, what if they already are, but because they don't know what wealth is, they are lost or confused? So I'm guessing you're saying, what if people already are wealthy, but they are lost and confused? You might be speaking about people who have a lot of money, but they're not wealthy, because wealthy is a mindset. So there's a lot of people who have a lot of money but aren't wealthy. because of their mindset, right? Because of their mindset. There's a lot of people who got a lot of money. Mindset ain't quite right. Doesn't make them wealthy, because wealth to me is more of a indication of how you make your money, not the amount of money you make. There's a lot of people who make, so for instance, football players literally makes hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars per week. But how do they make their money? They still make it with labor. If they're not doing anything to put that money to work for them so they make money with money, they're not wealthy. They're just broke at a higher level, because the moment they stop playing football and those $100,000 checks stop coming in, guess what? That $100,000 mortgage stopped getting paid. And that's why a lot of them go broke. So it's more about how you make your money, because that's a mindset thing. That's a financial literacy thing. That's a financial education thing, and opposed to how much money you have. Dwight says capability and commitment are two different things. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I love that, David, right? It says capability and commitment are two different things, right? It says just like there is a difference between talent and hard work. Two totally different things. Totally agree with you. Totally agree. I was telling my husband this last night, working hard to shed the old me, so ready for the new and wealthy me. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So it's financial freedom is 2 parts mental and 1 part mechanical. And you have to get your mental part right first. What I mean is that you probably need to lose your mind, including many of the beliefs you were brought up with. Some of those things that we were taught. Another thing that I like to help people understand is, if you work hard for every dime you get, that's proof that you're financially illiterate. A lot of us will go out and brag, chest puffed off, man, I work hard for all my money. Then you are financially immature. I work hard for some of my money, but then I've got money coming in that I don't work for at all, because of a thing called leverage. There's a thing called investment. There are things that you can do to put your money to work for you. There are systems that you can build that you can start making money without money. We can't keep going around talking about how hard we work for every dime. That means you're financially immature. You work hard for 10 dimes, and then you take 5 of those dimes and put them to work for you. And now you got money working. You work hard for another 10 dimes. You take 5 of those dimes and you put them to work for you. You shouldn't be working hard for all of your money, because what happens if you work hard for every dime you get, the day is going to come when you can no longer work hard and you're going to be broke. You're going to be broke, right? Here's one that really resonated with me. And this is what I want you guys to get. It says, I was lucky I was given a seed on to study exponential growth with money and in products. Yeah, that's good. That's good. To win in the game of money, you have to be on the field as an offensive player first. Did y'all catch that? Put offense in the chat if y'all feeling that. I was so feeling that, because now it gives me a different way to explain. When I'm telling people that you've got to get your cash flow all the way up, that's got to be your focus. Cash flow has got to be your focus. To win in the game of money, you have to be on the field as an offensive player first. Later, once you are way ahead in the game of money, you can play defense. You want to get rich, you can't stay on defense or be a spectator, and you need to have a strategy. Some of us don't even have any money, but we're playing defense. You can't listen to people who are talking about save, 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 save. You got to get on offense, man. You got to go produce, 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 so you have something to save. The Black Wealth Movement, we teach cash flow, the importance of cash flow. That means that's an offensive strategy. That's an offensive attack. No, we're trying to get more. We're trying to have more. We're trying to get an abundance of cash flow so that we can multiply it. And then once we multiply it, then we can start playing defense. Some of us don't have enough money to play defense. And because we're focused on playing defense, we can't play offense. We're not learning how to play offense. You got to produce first. Not produce to save, Ashley, produce to multiply. See, because that's what we're doing on our job. We're going to work and we're saying, okay, I'm going to go to work and I'm going to get a paycheck, and then I'm going to take some of that paycheck and I'm going to try to save it. No, I'm producing to multiply. So the money that you're getting on your job, you need to find a way to multiply that. And then you save from the multiplication. We teach cash, asset, cash. So the cash that you're getting on your job, you use it to buy, build, or produce some sort of asset that's going to bring in more cash. So you produce to multiply, and then once you multiply, you can start saving. Right? So that should be your game plan. Produce. I go to work every day. I produce income on the job. Now, income and cash flow are two different things. However, from my job, I can produce cash flow. I can take some of the income and turn it into cash flow. What is that? What am I talking about? If you make $50,000 a year on your job and you live a $50,000 a year lifestyle, you have no cash flow. Why? Because you didn't bring $50,000 a year home. You only brought home 32 because of taxes. So you're actually upside down. However, if you make $50,000 a year and you bring home 32 and you live a $24,000 lifestyle, now you have $8,000 a year in cash flow. See, we teach cash flow. You got to get your cash flowing, and now you take that cash flow of $8,000 and you figure out how to multiply it. You need to buy, build, or invest in an asset that's going to grow that 8,000 and multiply it. And after you do that a few years, that money starts to multiply. Now you have some money that you can pull out of there and start saving. But you should be producing to multiply. You got to play offense in this money game. Can't play defense if you don't have anything to defend. Right? Can't play defense when you don't have anything to defend. Right? Some people will not take any risks, even though they don't have anything to lose. Bazell says, Body by Bazell says, cash flow, working on that now. Some people will not take a risk, even though they have nothing to lose. Too busy playing defense. I don't want to start a business because I might lose my job. That ain't nothing to lose. David Wright says, define assets, please. Assets are anything that appreciate in value and or put money in your pocket. That's the Robert Kiyosaki classic, simple definition. Assets are anything that put money in your pocket and or appreciate in value. Anything that puts money in your pocket and or appreciate in value. Some things put money in your pocket and appreciate in value, like real estate. Right? You can have cash flow properties that are growing up in value, that are appreciating, and it's putting money in your pocket. Right? Then you can have some assets like gold that appreciates in value, don't necessarily put money in your pocket. It's called an equity asset because it's going up in value. right? So is a house an asset or a rental property only? Let's look at the definition. A definition of an asset is something that puts money in your pocket and or appreciates in value. Now let's look at the definition of a liability. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Now, ask yourself, is your house an asset or liability? Is it putting money in your pocket or is it taking money out of your pocket? Is it putting money in your pocket or is it taking money out of your pocket every month? Right? That's a tricky one. Kiyosaki says your home is not an asset because it takes money out of your pocket every month. Now, if you owned a duplex and you lived in one side and had somebody renting out the other side, now that home is an asset because it's not taking money out of your pocket. The people who are renting are paying the rent, paying the mortgage, and they are basically paying. They are basically paying for the maintenance of the property as well. So nothing is coming out of your pocket, right? And here's the thing, man. He says your land is, but that's true, Kiara. But in a lot of places, you buy, you mortgage property in America, you don't even own the land. A lot of people, and I'm assuming you're talking about the land that your house sits on that you're paying a mortgage on. A lot of places that you mortgage a home in today's America, you mortgage the house, but you never own the land. So you got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that. And here's the thing about home ownership. Here's the thing about home ownership. Home ownership is a deal where this was America's way of keeping people subjected to debt. See, we were told what the American dream is. Is that your dream? Was that your dream? Or did somebody tell you that is the dream? Right? So what if you own the home and have no mortgage? Is that an asset? Now that is an asset. If there's no mortgage to the home, that is an asset. That is an asset. That is an asset, right? We were told what the American dream is, and we went out and pursued the American dream. Right? We went out and pursued that American dream. And what did that American dream do? We went to college and got into debt. As soon as we got out of college, they told us we was going to get this good job. So we went and got us a car so we have transportation to and from that job. And then they told us that the American dream is to own your house. So we went out and mortgaged a single family home. Now we're in all of this bondage, AKA debt. And now they flip the tables on us, or maybe they never flipped the tables on us at all. Maybe they just pulled the veil back from from covering the tables. Because now that we're in all of this debt, now they can shuffle you around from job to job. And every time you leave one job to the next, you're paid less and less. But why do you accept such a thing? Because you have all of these debt obligations. You have all of these debt obligations. So, okay, you can lease land in Kenya, Africa, and get a residual income every 3 to 4 months a year. Oh man, that's you might need to be doing some videos teaching that, brother. That's good stuff. But we listened to what they said the American dream is. We went out and financed the education debt. We went out and financed a car debt. We went out and financed a house, more debt. Now, because we're in all of this debt, we're stuck on jobs we don't like because we've become emotionally attached to these various things. And even though we are not getting paid near where our talent says we should be getting paid, we can't walk off our job because we have debt obligations. So it is not our American dream. It is their American dreams. Who was behind the buy a home campaigns? It was the banks, y'all. The banks were behind the biggest buy a home campaign in the 60s and the 50s and the 60s. Right? Because what happened was when the Vietnam War came to an end and the soldiers were coming home from World War I and World War II, the government was practically giving homes away. And they saw that as a way to encourage the rest of the world to become homeowners, because those soldiers, those families had it good. They were given homes for $1,000, $9,000, $10,000. And in 20 years, 30 years, those homes appreciated and became worth $100,000. That's where the wealth came from. And then they said, your wealth is in your home. And they used that as an example, and everybody ran out and mortgaged the home. Well, we will never have a point in history where a $10,000 home will appreciate to $200,000, like a lot of those homes did in a lot of the suburbs when America really started booming. But that is the hope. That is the idea. That's what they're selling you on. And then you go and mortgage you a home. But it will never grow up in years like that. It will never grow up in equity like that. It will never grow up in value like that. If you're going to leverage debt, it just makes sense. Right. He said, and the GI Bill excluded Black folks. Yeah. That was one of the beginning of the wealth gaps. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So I'm too excited. I will be paying off my car loan this month, 13 months early. So tired of that. There you go, Bazille. I mean, you got to do that, Giovanni. You got to focus on getting yourself out of debt. Absolutely have to. So if you're going to leverage debt to buy a residence, why buy a single family? Right? If you're going to leverage debt to buy a residence, why buy a single family to begin with? Oh, because I'm told I'm supposed to have my dream house. Again, that's the banker's dream. That's not your dream. Your dream is to have wealth. Your dream is to leave a legacy, and you can't leave a legacy if you leverage a $300,000 loan for a single family home and your goal is to build wealth. That is insane. Because the same $300,000 can be leveraged to buy you a multi-unit apartment complex. You live in one of the units for 10 years, let the renters pay that off. Now you got cash coming in. Now you can go and build your dream home. And it's not coming from you. Your asset is paying for your dream home. What we do is we take our labor, take the money we get from our labor, and then we try to spend and create our lifestyle. Wealthy people take their labor, take the money they make from their labor, buy, build, invest in assets, and then the money that comes from the assets will pay for their lifestyle. Because guess what? If I use the money from my labor to buy a single family home, what happens when I lose my job? There goes my income to pay for the single family home. If I use my labor to buy an asset like a 10-unit apartment complex, and I live in one of the units, and I live there for 20 years, and in 20 years, the rental income has paid that off. Now I take the income that's coming from the 10 units and I buy me a nice ranch on 3 acres somewhere. And even if I'm mortgaging that, right, which you wouldn't have to at that point, but even if you had a mortgage on that and then you lost your job, do you lose your house at that point? No, because your labor was never paying for the house in the first place. Your asset was paying for the house. Nothing wrong with nice things. Just got to learn how to get those nice things the wrong way. It says that's what they did in Puerto Rico, cut the value of their dollar, then made them mortgage their land with American banks, which eventually was foreclosed on. 120 years later, Puerto Rico is in the condition it is in today. Man, yeah. I'm telling you, you got to look at who's behind everything that's going on and what is their motive. Who's behind it and what is the motive? The banks are behind the biggest campaigns for home ownership in the world. Why is that the case? Because when you mortgage a house for 30 years, you're going to pay 3 times that for it. Then on top of that, they're going to hypothecate your note, meaning they're going to be able to sell that note and earn an additional $10 or $20 or $30 for every single dollar. They're able to loan at least $10 on every dollar that's owed to them. So if you borrow $10 from the bank, they can go out and loan $100 out based on the $10 that you owe them. But we have to learn this stuff. So we didn't get to where I wanted to get to in the book. So we're going to have to fly through some stuff tomorrow, because we'll wrap this up tomorrow. I won't do the whole thing. I'll make tomorrow the last day that we do this. You guys got me off track talking about assets and liabilities. It says, I have heard of a lady who had 90 acres of land in America, and the government is paying her to use her land. Yeah, but you got to own it. And then you got to know how to raise the allodial title of that land. And that's another show for another time. But there's a difference between a deed of trust and the allodial title takes it back to the original owner, and you become that owner. And then when you raise the allodial title of the properties you own, the land you own, you not only own the land, you own the land and through the ground and infinitely, and also through the sky infinitely. That means if you owned enough land and you raise the allodial title on that land, you could literally create a no-fly zone, because they'd have to have permission to fly across the air that you own above your land. Yeah, it gets deep, man. It gets deep. It gets deep. A great show. I appreciate that, David. So that's it for today's show, man. Just remember, Black Wealth Movement. If you want to be a part of our organization where we just teach this stuff, we hammer in this stuff, and we give you some strategies on how to get yourself wealthy, $50 a month is popcorn and peanut money, man. We get you started today. Roughly $50 a month runs your business, and you're part of our organization where we teach and talk and train on this stuff all the time. You got to be part of an organization that's going to hold you accountable, a part of an organization with like-minded thinkers. All you have to do is text Black Wealth Movement to 314-874-6887. Again, text Black Wealth Movement to 314-874-6887. See, I wasn't playing when I told y'all yesterday, we're building Wakanda, right? Some of y'all just want to live there, and that's cool. We'll let you know when it's ready. But I need about 500 builders. So if you want to help build, then I want you to join the Black Wealth Movement. $50 a month, man. That's popcorn and peanut money. First thing we're going to do is help you get an extra $200 to $600 back in your household because of adjusting your W-4. Now that you have a business, then we'll help you get out of debt. We'll help you write off your lifestyle. You save money, and then we start building investments and buying assets from there. We ain't playing, y'all. We are not playing. Starts with a financial education. And in this case, that's how all empowerment begins. Economic empowerment is needed, and all empowerment begins with education. And in this case, a financial education. So text Black Wealth Movement to 314-874-6887. Remember, the Generational Wealth Building Conference coming up in April in Atlanta. Go to wealth.joincorteznow.com for all the details. And of course, follow my wife and I, our new show, our new platforms, I Am Hustle. I'm sorry, not I Am Hustle, Hustle and Love. I Am Hustle is a t-shirt brand. Hustle and Love. You can follow us on all the social media platforms. If you want to get to know a little bit about me from my wife's perspective, go to YouTube and check out the couple of videos that we have up already on Hustle and Love. It's real cool, man. I told my wife, I said, man, I know that you feel this way about me, but now it's on record. You talking about the way you feel about me, and it was so cool to hear. So if you want to check that out, check that out. It says, glad I'm helping build Wakanda. Absolutely, that's it. So I'm H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur. Until I talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every one of you. Peace out, y'all.